Now, a little village called Cherrow, where Mum grew up, courted, got married. I was conceived and spent the first 18 months of my life in Cherrow, a little village in between Beckhampton and Cowan, up the old A4, nestling at the foot of the Downs. When I was little, Cherrow had a post office. Not many villages have got post offices now, but this is in the front of the post office. Now it's a private dwelling, somebody to live in there. You can't buy stamps there now. But the person who live in this house, in their infinite wisdom, keeps a relic of the water supply, a well with a grating in so kids and dogs and cats and animals can't fall down. And a lovely invention, the old siphon pump. Now, I can remember using one of them in my great aunt's house. Not Uffington. Oh, I'd forget my brain. Anyway, it's a good invention because you got an hook there, and you can hang the handle of the bucket on the hook there, and gives you 2 hands free to prime them to pump the water. But now we don't need it, you see. Gets a bit more interesting when I show you other slides, but we're still on water at the moment. Whet your appetite. Next slide. Right, now, here's a lovely slide of a churchyard. When you go to a churchyard, always walk around it clockwise. If you walk around a church anti-clockwise, it'll bring you bad luck. This is the churchyard at St Swithin's Church at Compton Basset, where Mum, Dad, aunties and uncles, cousins, distant relations, all buried there. The Rumming family, the Rumming and the Rummings. Nearly all of our names are buried there, laid to rest there. But this is the church where that lady got angry with the belfry bells ringing on a Sunday. She knocked the door down and cut the belfry bells. But that's another story. I won't say that here because I don't know who's going to watch the video in years to come. So we've got to be careful. Yeah. We nearly put our foot in it once, didn't we? But it makes a lovely slide. About this time of the year, because the snowdrops, littered with snowdrops. Snowdrops, there's up to 200 different variants of a snowdrop in the snowdrop family. They like to grow up where there's not to be disturbed. They like peace and quiet. That's why they grow them. Well, you know, not to be dug up.
That's the first time I've ever heard the flowers like peace and quiet.
You know what I mean, don't you? Our father used to say, some plants are shy. They won't grow with each, like crocuses and daffodils, they grow up together, but some plants won't grow with each other because they're shy. But anyway, snowdrops, they like churchyards because they're left well alone. I don't know why they put an edge around a churchyard, because you don't want to get in and they can't get out. We're diverting it, but I don't usually say this. It's just that I know that I've got on about an hour and a quarter tonight. Always go around the churchyard clockwise. Now, why am I talking about St Swithin's Church at Compton Basset? Well, because I go there a lot, several times a year. It's always open. It's a lovely, peaceful place. But inside inside churches, it makes lovely slides. And of course, this is a font where you hold water. Fonts are used for obviously christening and baptisms or whatever. But years ago, in the Middle Ages, superstition has it that witches would come into the church, if they could, and pinch the consecrated water for their spells. So some fonts have padlocks on there. This then, 16th century, is a heavy one. You've got a job to lift it, but it's empty. They take the water out every night. But some fonts did have padlocks on to keep the water safe from superstition, which is pinching it. Now, 16th century, carved out of sandstone, and to match, there's an unusual and rare. It's a
Cairn or cane, I don't know which bit's been Normandy.
It comes from Normandy. It's carved to match the font and the pulpit. But yeah, very rare and unusual and ornate. Of course, stained glass windows. Stained glass windows in churches So stained glass windows depict stories from the Bible, because years ago, in the Middle Ages, after people couldn't read a Bible if they had one. So stories depicted, stained glass windows depicted stories from the Bible so the congregation would remember them. So the preacher stands here and he preaches for about an hour, but years ago they didn't have watches like me to see that it's half past. I've been talking about half hour already, we're behind schedule, but they didn't know. So what, just to the left here, the vicar had a 16th century hourglass, like an egg timer. You turn it over and it takes an hour from the sand to go from the top to the bottom, just there. And the next slide, you don't see many of them. That's that 16th century hourglass. You turn it over, an hour to go to the top to the bottom, and the congregation used to hope and pray that the vicar didn't, after 1 hour, turn it over and give them another hour's worth. But you don't see many of them in churches, and that's at St Swithin's Church at Compton Bassett. And the next slide. Now we're getting diverting a bit. They'll soon be coming out, won't they? Dandelions. Dandelion, from the French word meaning lion's tooth. Because years ago, people used to think those 150 yellow petals resembled the tooth of a lion. Lion's tooth, dandelion. And I bet you remember, or your parents saying to you, you pick them, you wet the bed. Because they used to call them pee the beds years ago. Perhaps it's right, because in them hollow stems there's a white milky substance, what nowadays they use in medical pharmaceutical industries for kidney and liver complaints, which is waterworks to the body. As I know, because I'm waiting to go in hospital to have stones out and it's painful. I ought to drink some of that probably. And you can also make very good wine, dandelion wine. I expect you, well, my gran used to make it. She used to put a piece of bread with some yeast or something on top of a gallon of bucket of water with a wine in, well, the wine in a bucket of water with a piece of bread or toast on the top. I always remember that. Dandelions, lion's tooth, pee the bed. Come out in I suppose April or May, and then the next evolution of this plant, them. What do we do with these? We pick them and you blow them. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Or girls pick them, he loves me not. Boys pick them, she will, she won't, she may do. And of course you pick these, and those, you call them docks, fairies, parachutes, whatever. It's been recorded scientifically that they blow up to 150 miles away from their original source. Scientifically. Now that's dandelions, and the next and third evolution of them, they end up like that. And I bet none of you girls know what they're called. Monks' crowns. Why monks' crowns? Because they thought in the Middle Ages that it resembles the bald head of a monk with a few hairs round his back of his ears. Oh, like me. Monks' crowns. Monks. Dandelions.
That's been on there for ages.
Is it? Oh, it's on. Next slide. What do we do with these? We picked them and we stuck them under our chin to see whether we'd like butter. In the Middle Ages they called them beggar's weeds. Why beggar's weeds? Because the tramps used to get outside of the village, scratch their hands and face and arms, make it raw, get these petals, rub them into their sores, and within a few hours it come up into a horrible pussy ulcer place, like a scab. They used to go into the village begging. The villagers used to think he got the plague. We don't want him in our village. We give him money to clear off. He'd go off with money in his pocket, go to the next village, and the next village, begging and begging and begging. But within a few days, the healing process of the body would get rid of the scabs, the ulcers, horrible pussy things. So those petals, pretty as they be, contain poisonous toxins. So